Hello. It's great.
Hello.
It's great to see you. Thank you for agreeing to give this interview. At the
Of
beginning
course.
of the interview, I will introduce you to our viewers.
Yes.
Ma-
Hello.
Hello. Martin Skogheim is a disciplined and battle-tested Norwegian super welterweight who has built his reputation on consistency and endurance and ring intelligence. Scandinavian boxing, technically sharp, mentally composed, and always ready to war. Fighting out of Norway, Skogheim combines classic orthodox fundamentals with calculated pressure, proving that success isn't always about knockouts. Sometimes it's about control, precision, and heart. Ranked among the top amateur super welterweights in his country, he continues to evolve step by step, fight by fight. He is not just collecting victories, he is building experience, resilience, and champions mindset. Martin, every champion has a beginning and every journey starts with a first step. I'd love to go back to where it all started for you. When you did first fall in love with boxing.
Wow. Firstly, I would just want to say thank you so much. That was a great introduction. I feel very honored to to have such a good introduction. Thank you so much. And well, where can we start? Actually. My door into boxing was a bit random, I think. Some friends from school, we agreed to go and try the local kickboxing gym. Um, we were 9 years old, and I remember thinking, yeah, that sounds like fun. You know, we can learn to defend ourselves and punch and kick and use a lot of energy, uh, which is perfect for a 9-year-old. And and the years just passed. I from kickboxing, I quickly uh, changed into boxing. It was easier to get fights in Norway, at least more fights. Um, Kickboxing was some big tournaments, but very few. So yeah, we had to travel all the way to North Norway, West Norway. In boxing, you could just join a tournament almost yeah every other weekend maybe. So yeah, my two friends that I started with when we were in the fourth grade, they quit very early, but I stayed on the yeah fighting journey.
Many people started with kickboxing. One
Hmm.
of my favorite boxers was kickboxer, the world champions Vitaly Klitschko.
Hmm. He was kickboxer, really?
Yeah, world
Okay.
champion.
Yes. Wow. Crazy. Also, I know a few others. Maybe I think Chris Algieri was a kickboxer also. Yeah, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So there are probably many, and Thai boxing, kickboxing. Now maybe some grappling, MMA, wrestling, wrestlers. maybe also Lomachenko did wrestling.
Yes.
So yeah.
Behind every fighter, there is a childhood story that shaped his mindset. I am curious about the environment that built your mentality.
Mm,
What was your childhood like growing up in Norway?
mm. Um, well, it's cold. No, it's I cherish my childhood. To be honest, I feel like I had a loving home. I have four siblings, and yeah, a loving mother and father, and yeah, I there was no problem for me getting friends at school. I was social, um, and also school was a big um, how do you call it? Like was a big importance to me and my parents, and yeah, it was put as number one priority. I would say before sports, and so I had to do good in school to be able to go boxing training. So so there was no option really, but to try and do the best. But no, I feel like my childhood here in Norway is probably like many others, peaceful and yeah, uh, quiet and just it's hard to it's a bit hard to explain really, but I don't have any feel like I have any childhood trauma or yeah, if it makes any sense. So
You were a kickboxer, but
hmm,
now you are cool boxer. Support systems are crucial in the early years of any athlete.
hmm,
Family often plays a decisive role. Did
hmm.
your family support your decision to become a boxer?
Yes, especially my father did, and of course I think like many other mothers, my mother was also she was skeptical um, and very nervous in the first fights when I was 11, 12 years old. She was she could almost not be present in the building. And we were only kids, and it was like, kids boxing. So, um, but as I grew into the sport, I got more and more disciplined with the sport, and also I think I got more and more support from my parents, which are my main um, like trying to translate in my head, but yeah, my main support uh, in the economics of the career. At least my father supported me economically, which is very important in Norway. Even if you are on the national team, you have to pay at least half or more of the prices yourself to go and to go travel and training camp with other countries and international tournaments and representing with the Norwegian flag on your chest, it's there's really no money in the federation, not enough for to sponsor the athletes 100%. So I needed support from my uh, from my family. Yes.
Parental support is important. I have great respect for them for that. The first gym experience can change a young fighter forever. I imagine you still remember that moment vividly. Do you remember your first day in a boxing gym?
Mm. I uh, I remember the gym very in my head. It's not very far away from where I'm sitting right now, actually. And yeah, it was in the winter time. Me and my two other friends from school, from fourth grade, we uh, we went out and tried. It was kickboxing, and we met the trainer there. And I was very surprised the first day because I don't think the official training has started yet. So there were only us three and the coach. So we were given a lot of what do you call it? Um, a lot of supervision from those early sessions. I think that was a good start into the sport. And I remember the kickboxing coach very clearly in my head. Alexander was his name, um, which is funny because now my boxing coach name is also Alexander. So maybe the uh, ends meet the full circle. And yeah, one thing I remember a lot is the first time I went into the boxing gym was the smell of sweat and yeah, the gym smell. Every boxer I think knows this smell. That was like I I hadn't experienced that before, so that was a very uh, yeah, um, that made the impression.
My boxing idol is Muhammad
Yes,
Ali. I did a big analysis of his amateur career on my YouTube channel. You can watch it with subtitles. Many fighters had idols they looked up to when they were young. Inspiration often defines ambition. Who was your boxing idol growing up?
I. It's a very hard question. I'm right now. I'm not idolizing one boxer, maybe, but I was very into Canelo from early. Even though I'm not maybe stylistically the same as him. I always enjoyed his fights were very um how do you say it? They were very entertaining fights. And he has a very clean and uh, tidy style, which I enjoy to watch. Um, Also, now later on, I I really admire the style of Shakur Stevenson and also Lomachenko is probably the greatest amateur boxer in my like ever, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, I would say professional Canelo Alvarez and amateur Lomachenko. Yeah, I would say so.
You mentioned Canelo. I liked Triple G.
Yes, yes. Oh,
Canelo, Canelo
I,
versus Triple G.
I, yeah, I love Triple G as well. It's a very, he's he's like a war, like machine of war. Um, if it makes sense, it's like if you, like you said in the introduction, if I am battle tested, then Triple G is he's battle tested 1,000 times. It's like a, yeah, it's like a tank. Um, very intelligent uh, fighter as well, I think.
Martin, some rivalries define an era and divide the boxing world into two camps. The trilogy between these two champions become one of the most debated in modern boxing history.
Hmm.
What were your expectations before the first Canelo versus Triple G fight?
That I would say that was one of the fights that is very hard to pick a winner. Um, I did not bet on the first fight. Uh, I mm, yes, I did actually bet on the first fight. That was the one which resulted in a draw. Yes,
Yes,
yes, and I saw something happening. Uh, I saw Triple G winning this fight, and I thought from a business view point of view, uh, to make this uh, a, a future trilogy, they will have a draw in the first fight, and then they can make another fight, and then they can make a rematch of that fight and make more money. So I think as corrupt as professional boxing might be, that can be some of the reason why it happened, because that was not a draw, to be honest. It was a clear win for Triple G. But I actually bet a little money on the draw as the fight went on, because I thought that would make a very like good foundation for a trilogy. And as we know, professional boxing is money, and it's show business, and they want to sell tickets and make more money. So although Canelo lost in my eyes the first fight, I think the second one should have been the real draw, and the third one uh, is a clear Canelo win. But yeah, Triple G did not look the same in the third one. His career was over, I think, before the fight started. So, and it looked like he knew as well.
the trilogy could have been made even if the first fight was rightly considered in favor of Triple G.
Mm.
Adelaida Bird counted 118-110 in favor of Saul. The rematch showed tactical adjustments from both sides and even more intensity. It felt like a true championship level chess match. What adjustment impressed you most in the second fight?
Hmm. It's uh, it's hard to to tell right now. It's been a few years since the fight. Um, but I would say probably I want to rewatch the fight before I say too much about it. But I think this time Canelo knew what he was up against. I think he wasn't really aware somehow. His team, maybe him or his team, took a bit lightly on Triple G, and this time they made sure to come prepared with more specialized training camp, and that evened the odds very much, I think. Um, but technically and tactically, I have to rewatch that fight because it's still a few years since I watched it last. I'm sorry.
Styles make fights, and his rivalry was a clash between calculated aggression and relentless pressure. From a technical perspective, there was a lot to learn. As a boxer yourself, what did you personally learn from watching the Canelo Golovkin trilogy?
Well, if there is something you can take from that trilogy, it's it's the knowledge that what you just said, that Styles really makes fights. Um, these and also skills makes fights because you can have very different schools of boxing meet each other in the ring, and it can be a devastating win either way. But it really depends on the on the toughness and adaptiveness, I think, of the boxer, and that's also a good inspiration to young boxers to try and maybe not adapt uh, into a very narrow style, but uh, of course uh, find your style of boxing, but also train on those things that are uncomfortable and difficult because you will meet those situations in the ring. Definitely, 100%. You have to meet those situations, and sometimes you go out in a fight and you lose the first round, not because the other boxer is much better than you, but maybe you did a tactical or technical miscalculation, and then you have to be able to switch into a different style, make those hard choices, and adapt into the situation. And I think that's maybe one of the things you can take from that trilogy is the way Canelo adapted, at least throughout the second fight. Um, I think it's a good example of that. Um, yeah, to be able to adapt, I think is yeah, one of the things you can take from that fight or that trilogy also.
Thank you for the honest analysis. Martin, stepping into the ring for the first time in an official bout change a fighter forever. That first bell often defines how serious you truly are about the sport. How did you feel before your very first amateur fight?
Mm. Um, To be honest, I in Norway we have a when you're under the age of 15, um, we have this technical bouts, which is scored on the technical superiority. Um, and that's what I remember the most is when I was 11 years old. It's not called amateur, but it's technical boxing. And I stepped into the ring with a bit more experienced boxer, which had a few fights, and I remember the adrenaline rush was very high from the beginning, and the fight went very quick, and I lost this fight on point, and my coach uh, tells me he knew after the fight that okay, this can be a exciting journey because my first question after the fight in the dressing room was when where can we go to fight next, and when can I meet this guy and avenge my loss. um, and I think that was a turning point, if it makes sense. So, and we went on to fight the next weekend, and I met this guy a few months after this, and I avenged my loss, and from there, yeah, it's became a journey.
Losses often teach more than victories ever could. They reveal character and resilience. What was the hardest lesson you learned in your early career?
Hmm. It's maybe like you say, um, when you're new to the sport, it's you just want to go in there and win, of course, every fight, and of course I still do, but being you have to learn to be able, at least in amateur boxing, when sometimes you have 20 fights per year, if it's a busy season, you have to be able to, and it's a high level, um, you have to be able to actually lose some fights. You have to be able to take on the very best guys. If it depends on your level, if it's in your state or country or in your continent or world, but I think you have to be able to take a loss and and still come back to training the day after. If not the day after, then use a week to reset and take some time off, and yeah, it's a mental challenge, but I think some of the greatest fighters probably lost, if not a lot of fights, but a few fights, and that's what made them, like you say, uh, champions in the end. So the feeling of losing is is so bad that you work as hard as you can to not go in there and lose. Yeah, it's a difficult question, but I think a loss reveals a lot about your character. like you said.
You did a great job. Every boxer remembers the emotions after his first victory. That moment can either boost confidence or add pressure. What do you remember most about your first win?
Well, um, I remember after, like I said, losing my first fight, um, I went on and I won I won the next one, and that was really addictive. The feeling of succeeding in the ring, and it's it's like many has said before that when you uh, when you step into the ring, and if it's for it's a fight or it's training, it's really yourself against yourself. And when you when you put down the hard work and it pays off, and you win the fight, it's a win uh, for yourself, um, and that's a great feeling, of course. And I recommend everyone to be able to have that determination and discipline, and being able to feel that um, very positive feeling. I think that's something you can bring in your life uh, to many other arenas as well. So so of course it's a great feeling, uh, and I will always remember at least my first victory after, yeah, after that first loss. Yeah, it's a very positive feeling.
You have 99 fights recorded on the box rack. How many are there really?
Well, amateur fights now, I have 128 in my official boxer's book. Um, and before that, that's from age 15 and to now. So that's 10 years of amateur boxing. And before that, I had about 20 something fights as a kid with the technical boxing, and also 5, 6 kickboxing matches. So yeah, around 150, 160 matches in total from that first loss that I also mentioned. Yeah, that's the total amount.
Competing in 128 official amateur bouts requires discipline and mental strength. Not everyone can maintain focus for so long. What kept you motivated through so many fights?
That's also a difficult question, but I think maybe uh, just being able to find boxing as a arena to challenge yourself. I think I think some people need to have very to have hard things to do, in order to uh, what's the English word for it? It's a very easy word, but um, I can't work it out on the spot. But um, give me a second. It's right on the yeah, develop as a fighter and as an athlete, but also as a human in a big world. Just to challenge yourself. I think that's what kept me going.
Motivation must be. Vasily Lomachenko lost his motivation and ended his career. Amateur boxing demands speed and tactical precision. It's a different world compared to the professional ranks. What did you think is your biggest strength as an amateur fighter?
Well, um, uh, like we like we mentioned earlier in this interview, I think maybe my uh, uh, biggest strength is to adapt to different situations, and you have many styles, like you said, in boxing, and being able to adapt throughout the fight, I think is a very high importance to my career. And my in some of my recent fights in this January, uh, I there were I went on a tournament with there was three fights. Two of those fights I lost the first round. One of the fights I lost on, I think, 4 out of 5 judges' scorecards in the first round, and being able to sit down and have a make make a decision to change your tactical and technical skills throughout the fight, and being able to turn the table. I think that's the yeah, I think that's my greatest um, skill in boxing.
Representing your country is an incredible pride for everyone when you are a national symbols. Fighting for Norway carries national pride and responsibility. Representing your flag always adds emotion. What does it mean to you to represent Norway in the ring?
Well, Norway really is, some people never heard of it even, and it's in boxing, which is a huge, it's a gigantic sport worldwide, is a very small sport in Norway, and being able to come out to the European stage and the world stage, and show people that, hey, we in Norway we can, if we want, make some good fighters, and showing my Norwegian youth, uh, the youth of Norway, that we have a fighting spirit, but so everyone can do it. Um, we have Viking genes in our blood, and you just have to activate it. I think in the modern day, this fighting spirit has rotted away. At least I can say in Norway and Scandinavia, with the very comfortable way of life, and um, we have a high standard of living in Norway. There is very little poverty, and most people have it uh, good, and which is a very good thing for a nation. That's what everyone wants. But still, you have to be able to step into that uncomfortable fighting situation, I think, and that's being able to show that to the youth, to the generations coming now. I think it's a very big importance to me when I have my flag on the chest.
It's my goal to interview Magne Havna one day.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you have read the news, but Magne Havno, he passed away in 2001, I think, in a drowning incident. So I'm curious, did you ever get the opportunity to meet him before he passed away?
Yeah. Uh, Passed away.
Yeah, he died in an accident in 2001, Magne Havno, but his son, uh, Kai Robin Havno, is has a I think his career has stopped now, but now he's coaching young athletes. So Kai Robin, I met him a few times. Very, very nice guy, the son of Magne Havno, and I would recommend you to make contact with him and yeah, ask him some questions. That's maybe also about his father and growing up with a champion father. Yeah.
Yes. Super welterweight is a competitive and technical division. Every opponent brings a different challenge. Why did you choose to compete in the super welterweight division?
Well, I don't think it was my choice really. It's just mm, my body type and weight is in that range. And as I grew older, like I we talked about earlier. My first fight, it was in 40 kilos division. It was uh, very low, and then of course 40, 50, 60 kilos as I grew older, and so lightweight and super lightweight and welterweight, and then super welterweight, or as some call it now, also light middleweight, in 70 kilos. I think it's for me. I could probably go down to 65 kilos now, but I don't want to waste that much energy on losing weight. I would rather use my energy um, efficiently in the fight and not uh, waste all my what do you call it? Again, English is not my first language, but
Your
um,
English is cool.
okay, thank you so much. But yeah, I would try not to lose my focus on the battle with the weight and try to channelize my focus on the battle in the ring, which I think many fighters, at least inexperienced fighters, they think winning the fight is done by going down as many kilos as you can, and it's not true. It's the skills in the ring that matters the most, and yeah, I think that's why I ended up very close to my walking weight. Now I'm 72 kilos walking weight, and I do a little session in the sauna, and I am ready for the weigh-ins. So it's just a small adjustment, and I don't have to waste energy on that. Yeah, sweating.
Martin, as an Ukrainian blogger, Ukrainian YouTuber, I always pay special attention to fights involving our fighters. Your bout with Yaroslav Michalushko caught my interest in particular. How would you analyze your fight against Yaroslav Michalushko from a tactical perspective?
Oh wow. Yaroslav, I remember this fight in the Stranja tournament in Bulgaria. He's uh, he's a very uh, technical boxer with a good hand speed and timing. His punches were very well timed, and he was a very difficult opponent. And I think I managed a bit success in that fight with keeping up the pace and making him miss in order for me to counter. But I also I knew beforehand that this fight was going to be extremely difficult to win. His experience outmatches mine, and his talent is very high level. So so I try to um, lower my shoulders a bit and uh, be comfortable with the uncomfortable. And uh, I remember that fight as one of the fights where I performed very well, but maybe as good as I could have, but still came out with the loss. And yeah, that's how the international boxing uh, is at a high level. So if you ever see Yaroslav, I want you to uh, say hi from me, and yeah, maybe he remembers the fight. I think it was a quarter final or something. I won one fight and then went on to this opponent, and I think he got a medal in this division that year. I'm not sure if it was gold or silver. I think he made it to the finals. Very talented boxer.
The fight with Yaroslav Michalushko took place in Croatia, not in Bulgaria.
Oh,
That's with Yaroslav Hartseis in Bulgaria.
ah, oh, yes, yes. Different Yaroslav. Uh, Different Yaroslav, same country. But yes, in Croatia, I remember this fight as a very tough uh, fight, which I was not able to to win. And I of course I fight till the final second, but yeah, sometimes you meet someone who is just yeah faster, stronger, and maybe not better tactically, but uh, physical superior. And this guy was a machine. Um, so, and he also probably had more experience than me coming into the fight, and I think he had a few professional fights as well at this time, which is good experience you can also bring into the amateurs. Mm, oh yeah, and I remember in the camp the month before, um, I was very sick. It was in the COVID years, and I got COVID, and I I'm not sure if I recovered properly to this tournament, which is maybe I shouldn't have boxed that tournament when I look back at it, because I was not 100% ready physically. But sometimes your ego tells you that, but what you don't have physically, you can make up in technical and tactical ways. But yeah, sometimes not, and you have to learn the hard way.
Uh, Because I listened and didn't realize what you were talking about, Yaroslav.
Okay, yeah, but you are correct. As Yaroslav Karchis was in the Stranja tournament, and this uh, Yaroslav was in the European Championship.
Uh, by the way, many Ukrainian fans see Yaroslav Hartsis as a future world level fighter. I'd like to hear your professional assessment. Do you believe Hartsis has the potential to succeed at the highest international level?
Yes, yes, I do. No doubt about it. He's a very talented man. So that only depends on what he wants. But I haven't been following his career the past years, but if is still in the boxing business, and yeah, I think he can go as far as he wants.
Endurance plays a major role in a long amateur tournaments. Conditioning can decide champions. How do you prepare physically for tournament-style competitions?
Well, on the physical side, if we aside from boxing, I love to do strength training with uh, with the big the compound movements, like uh, deadlift and squat and military press, bench press, and I think it's very important to uh, periodicize, like have different periods for what you want to achieve. If you want to start with strength training, you should set some time to to gain some muscle mass volume, uh, and then turn that volume into pure strength with heavy loads, and turning that strength into an endurance and explosiveness with more light loads and more repetitions, long breaks in the sessions. Just yeah, that's a very short answer to it, but um, that's my way of uh, having different periods of strength training before a competition. But what is very interesting with amateur boxing is you kind of have to be ready all the time, and there are fights all year around. So a mistake I think many amateurs do is they compete too much. I think spending time on developing outside the competition and having enough time between the competition, it makes you more mentally prepared, and it allows time and gives you time to physically prepare as well. and being mentally and physically prepared is absolutely uh, necessary. So it's like Sugar Ray Robinson once said that you have to keep the heart on, and it's hard keeping the heart on. Uh, if you fight every weekend, in the end, it's just another fight, and you're not really um, activated. If you get my drift, so um, yeah. And besides strength training, um, I find that many boxers also doing a lot of running, and it's of course it's not a bad thing to be out and running, um, but I think you should spend your time if you want to be a good boxer. You should spend your time in the boxing gym, and that's where we will get the physical advance because you can take the best runner in the world um, with a very high max VO2. He would still be exhausted in one round in the boxing ring. So yeah, it's I think you have to prioritize boxing and have enough time for strength training to be physically uh, prepared. And yeah, maybe some fights you have to say no and allow time to to give you time for physically preparing and mentally, of course.
Oof. Mental preparation is just as important as physical training. Champions control their nerves. Do you work on sports psychology or mental training?
Not, to be honest, not as much as I maybe should have. Um, there are probably some things I could gain from it, but where also uh, what I found out recently or in later years is that uh, being able to be confident and trust your skill set going into a competition is a can be a very uh, good mental um, strength, and that's what I try to do now. Just going into a fight, I know I can defend myself, and it's yeah. As long as I am hungry to win, uh, there will always be the chance to win.
Vladimir Petrovich Sidorenko is a Ukrainian former professional boxer who competed from 2001 to 2010 and held the WBA bantamweight title from 2005 to 2008. As an amateur, he won a silver medal at the 2001 World Champions and consecutive golds at the 1998 and 2000 European Championships, all in the flyweight division. His twin brother is former amateur boxing Valery Sidorenko. Tell us about your acquaintance with Vladimir Sidorenko.
Um, well, with Vladimir Sidorenko, yes,
Yes.
it's wow, what a person. My first impression with him, meeting him for the first time, I was uh, I was very excited because I know of his success in his career, and uh, I I was really excited to see on a like a human level what kind of person is this man, and and as soon as I see him the first time, he smiles and he comes at me and shakes my hand, and is just such a nice person, and he's nice to everyone in the gym. He brings a very good environment with him, which is what made a very big impression on me. Many boxers and coaches, sometimes you see they're almost emotionless, like they're detached from emotion. You can at least just, if you don't know them and you see them, they look so hard and tough and like, but this guy is he's just so sweet and nice to everyone, and that really made an impression on me.
Everyone who has not seen my interview with Vladimir Sidorenko can watch it with subtitles on my YouTube channel Boxing on Sundays.
That I will take that uh, what's it called, um, recommendation.
Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Every boxer has a signature style that defines him in the ring. Fans often recognize it immediately. How would you describe your boxing style?
Wow. It's it's maybe changed a bit throughout the years, um, but many, mm, at least in Scandinavia, and those who have been watching my fights the last years, they would probably say that I'm a counter boxer. Um, but the last 2 years, I've been more offensive with staying inside the pocket, working on infight and pressure. So, and this has given me success in my last 4 fights. These 2 months has been pressuring uh, my opponents. So, but I also I like to do the counter boxing on the back foot as well. So it's hard to define, to be honest. I want to be I want to be remembered as a adaptive style fighter.
Orthodox fighters often rely on strong fundamentals. Technique becomes their main weapon. What technical element do you focus on improving the most?
Hmm. What I like the most with boxing is probably head movement and making my opponent miss. Is it can be in the situation. It can be almost as uh, uh, giving as uh, hitting a good shot yourself is to make your opponent miss with a good shot. So so I think the defensive uh, the defense style of boxing is my favorite.
Some fights stay in memory forever. They define stages of growth. Which amateur fight shaped you the most as a boxer?
Mm. Wow, that is a good question. Um, it would probably one of my losses, like we talked about earlier, um, going into the international stage and having very good opponents and losing. Um, I'm not sure which one I would uh, remember the most, but I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's been knocked out of my head, but no, it's a good question. I think I'll leave it at that. That after almost 130 fights now, yeah, it's difficult to say, but I would say the World Championships in 2021 was probably the most memorable tournament for me so far, and probably will be also in my career. I've not quit boxing, but I've stepped down a bit from the international competitions. So that will stay in memory forever. Meeting a Bulgarian opponent in the first fight and uh, and winning on my and that's if I remember correctly, that was on my birthday as well, which was the best birthday gift you can have is winning a world championship fight. So that will be a very memorable fight for me.
Crowd can either energize a fighter or distract him. Atmosphere matters. Do you prefer fighting at home or abroad?
Hmm. Well, I think it depends. Um, I think it depends a bit because the main difference between fighting home and abroad, I think it's the mental game before the fight and during the fight. It's at home you you feel a bit more restrained because you want to show your your people and your countrymen what skills you have and do the best fight you can, and that can be destructive mentally, even though the crowd is cheering you on and can make a huge difference, of course. Um, I think some of my best performances has still been outside my uh, yeah m- my home uh, ground, and it's uh, it's difficult. I like fighting at home and away, so it's yeah. I think I'm rather neutral to that, but being an underdog in a fight abroad is is very good because if you're fighting a home fighter, he has to prove everything, and no one really expects you to win, and that's what can also be a mental um, strength, I think, for a fighter. So it's a very difficult question. I would say it's totally depends on the atmosphere and what fighter you are fighting, and if your style suits it. Yeah.
Cool. You just love boxing. It's nice to box there and there.
Yeah.
Boxing is often called a lonely sport, yet teamwork is essential. How important is your coach in your daily development?
My coach is of course extremely important and essential to my performance in training and also of course fights. But I would say uh, my coach is a boxing genius and a boxing nerd, and I really he analyzes every boxing fight he sees, and he breaks it down so I can learn from my fights and other fights, um, and that makes me trust him very much in the process. And I think that trust is very important for an athlete to have with his coach. So it's very important in the training situation, and also in the fighting situation, to have a coach that you can trust. Um, and also, I would add, some coaches. We talked a bit about the physical training. I think most boxing coaches should interfere very little with the physical training. I think in a modern day we have a lot of strength and conditioning coaches that knows that have studied and knows a lot more than old school boxing coaches do when it comes to uh, strength and conditioning. So I would recommend the young athletes to if what your coach says you should do for strength and conditioning, if it sounds a bit weird, then you should definitely double check it. But always trust your coach on the boxing. Uh, uh, on the boxing. What do you call it? In the boxing knowledge. Yeah, I would say.
Every fighter faces moments of doubt. The difference is how they respond. Have you ever thought about quitting boxing? Did you want to leave boxing?
Of course. What is um, what has been a big challenge as a Norwegian boxer is economy. If you want to travel a lot and do this sport full time, you need some income from. It can be private sponsors, or but you don't really get enough. You don't get anything for being in the national team and representing your country in Norway. Um, so that has always been a hard. And you see friends at your age go out and study, get a good, well paid job. They get into the real estate market. And all those things are things that you have uh, to make a decision to to wait with that. But it can be very uh, it can be very interesting to see what could that life be like as well. So that's maybe at the crossroads I am now, and I've tried to combine it, but it's very difficult. Um, and I think with my experience in fighting and what I have gained from boxing, I think it's soon time to put the gloves away and at least from competing on the high level. But I will always, all my life, I would have boxing as one of my main uh, hobbies, at least. Maybe even go into the coach role eventually. And we'll see. I think it's a very great environment for people to come to a boxing gym, and I want to be a part of that.
Good that you didn't give up. I respect you for that. However, there are many important things in boxing, not important things. Motivation and discipline solve a lot in boxing, but discipline outside the ring is as important as performance inside it. Lifestyle shapes results. How strict are you with your diet and recovery routine?
Well, I've always been a yes man, and try to be part of as much. I'm a very social uh, person. I like to meet my friends and meet new people, and events like this is very hard for me to say no to. Um, but yeah, that's been one of my biggest challenges in the career is to is to prioritize for what's best for me as an athlete. Is it to stay home one evening to recover for the next day of training, or is it to go out and hang out with my friends and family? Um, Sometimes the answer is it can be a little bit of both, maybe. I think it's a very important to balance this structure. So some people can probably do training all year and don't see their family, but I think most humans they need this um, social input from their friends and family, and as long as you balance it in a way that uh, yeah, it makes you not it doesn't give you a disadvantage in the training. I think that's the way to go, of course, if you want to be a top level boxer. So, but for me, it can be as much giving to come out and meet my friends and family one evening that can make a mental um, um, recovery as much as physical. And I think that also is very important. So it's hard to balance. When it comes to diet, I have uh, been raised in the home and where we will mostly buy nutritious food, and we make it ourselves at home. And yeah, I haven't been too concerned with my diet as long as I'm getting enough protein and enough carbohydrates to be able to sustain training. That's yeah. My fear has always been uh, lacking carbohydrates and protein, and I am still super skinny and I eat a lot, so it's not been a big concern for me.
I treat all boxers with great respect. You set an example not only in sports, but also in life. Energy, devotion, respect. Every athlete sacrifices something for success. Balance is rarely easy. What was boxing forced you to sacrifice in your personal life?
Well, as I mentioned a bit now, it's probably the social life, and also um, establishing uh, like a career in a working career. Um, so so I've been taking part-time jobs to have yeah to have a food on my plate and being able to have some money when I go out and travel and train and fight and compete. So, but I'm not really been chasing a job career. So that's yeah, job career and social life. I would say is probably the two biggest sacrifices for me when it comes to boxing.
There is such a thing in boxing as a star disease. When a person has experienced it, you can see it. Confidence grows with experience, but humility keeps fighters grounded. How do you stay humble after victories?
Hmm. Um, I think that's comes from within. Um, it's 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 just in in my nature to act a way that I want others to act to me, and when boxing is a crazy sport because of the risk. You always risk your health stepping into the ring, and and uh, if you win, that's a very good thing. But you can also lose in a devastating fashion, and going down, you can be knocked out in front of your home crowd, and that's something we have to respect. And winning or losing, I think that respect after the fight is respecting your opponent and his team is one of the most important things in boxing competition, um, and that's also what makes it a very good environment to train and uh, is to meet these people with very humble intentions and honest intentions. Um, yeah, because of the risk, to be honest. Yeah.
Many fighters dream about turning professional one day. It's a major decision in any career. Do you see yourself turning professional in the near future?
The short answer is no. Um, that would make me like I'm a person that I want to do things 100% if I go for it. And turning professional, that means uh, 10, 15 years career if I want to go all the way and have a huge goal. And for me now, no, I would not go for that goal. If I was mentally very hungry to do so, I would have. But again, I have traded so much career and social life at this point. So I think my honest answer would be no. Um, but still, if there is an event or uh, nearby and someone needs a fighter, or um, it can be of course a cool experience to go in a professional match. But I don't see myself uh, going for a professional career in the long run. No.
Professionals can beat off the head if you work badly in defense. They are hard gloves. Training
Definitely, very different glove from the amateurs. I think everyone that has put on a professional glove and really felt the horse hair inside, it's just very thin protection uh, for both you and your opponent.
uh, I remember the fight of Cotto Margarito.
Mm. Is a that was a that was a crazy fight, and is that Margarita the one who was accused for tampering with his gloves after? Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes.
Margarito found a lot of bandages there.
Mm. Mm. So they stacked like a hard uh, like a brick of
Yeah.
bandages. Yeah.
And training camps can be intense and exhausting. They test discipline and character. What does a typical training week look like for you?
Well, it depends for what you are preparing, of course. But a typical a week in a preparation for a tournament, let's say it's 2 3 weeks until a tournament. Uh, it consists of mostly boxing training uh, and some strength and conditioning, of course. And the later years, I've been combining this with a full-time job as well. So I have it's been evening sessions in the gym, and I try to make the most out of the weekend with sparring and recovery. I try to keep my Sundays off training to be physically and mentally prepared for a new week with with the challenges.
Martin, amateur boxing is often the foundation for Olympic dreams and international recognition. Many fighters built their legacy long before turning professional. What are your main goals in amateur boxing over the next few years?
Oh, it's a difficult question to answer because um, right now I am balancing the job career and sports, which is which has made me come to a decision that mm, I think I will now stay at the national and or Scandinavian, maybe international club level for tournaments. And to be honest, my goal now is to use my experience and enjoy and have fun in the ring for the next years.
Every athlete dreams about reaching the highest stage possible. True competitors always chase the biggest challenges. Is the Olympic Games your ultimate goal in amateur boxing?
Well, well, uh, I think maybe not every athlete dreams of going to the top level. Um, and this is a question some athletes have to ask themselves. What do I want to achieve? Um, and how can I use the sport for my own the best way for me? And that's the stage where I've reached now. I tried to qualify for the Olympics in the past Olympics in Paris, and I didn't make it, and that was a bit of a turning point for me. I think I took a few months off boxing, and I found out that now from now on I will keep exercising boxing for maintaining health and also competing at a bit smaller stages. So so the Olympic dream for me is now it's really not existing.
Martin, thank you for your time and honest answers throughout this interview. As we close this conversation, I'd like to give you the final word. What message would you like to send to boxing fans in Norway, Ukraine, and around the world?
Oh wow, that's a lot to put on my shoulders, Mr. Konoshenko. Um, well, I would probably probably say the as we were talking a bit about also uh, to keep keep working hard for what you want to achieve, and in the process try and try and stay humble, because you never know. It can be you one day that are getting knocked out in front of your home crowd, and that's the humbleness of the sport. I think is very important to remember, and yeah, just be nice to those around you and create a good environment for everyone in the boxing gym. People come there for the first time, and they don't know, they're insecure. They don't know what to expect. So uh, give them respect, and I think you will get a lot back from it.
Martin, it has been a real pleasure speaking with you and learning more about your journey, your mindset, and your ambitions. Your discipline, experience, and hunger to grow truly reflect the spirit of a true fighter. I sincerely wish you strength in every round of your career, clarity in every decision you make, and victory in every challenge that stands in your way. May your hard work bring you medals, unforgettable performances, and the respect of fans all around the world. Keep representing Norway with pride, keep evolving as a boxer and as a man, and never lose the fire that brought you into this sport. The boxing world is watching, and your best chapters are still ahead of you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Konashenko. It's been a pleasure to speak with you, and you came really well prepared with your interview. And I want to look into your account and find other interviews with boxers and check it out, because this was a very interesting experience for me. Thank you so much, Mr. Konashenko.
Thank you too. Goodbye.
Bye bye.